Samcro will be handy though, won't he?
Without a doubt, Fitzy. Yeah, I think he'll be in the first 3 or 4, not further back. Here we go then, the Deloitte Novice Hurdle.
Thereof. Real Steel goes straight to the lead for Patrick Mullins from Le Richebourg on the inside of Debussy, and they're being closely followed by Charge. In between horses then comes Samcro. Whiskey Sour is towards the inside. Paloma Blue making headway towards the leaders on the outside, just ahead of Trainwreck as they come now towards the first flight in the Deloitte Novice Hurdle. And it's Real Steel with Paloma Blue now making ground up on the near side, being followed by Le Richebourg. Debussy is next with Samcro, and then comes Charge. On the outside of Charge is Trainwreck. Towards their inside is Top of the Ra, and they're followed by Whiskey Sour with towards the back of the field Early Doors in company with Duke de Genevieve. So they're racing on now to the next flight, taking them right across from the stands, and in the lead is Paloma Blue, going on into a 2-length lead, followed by Real Steel in second. They're being followed by Le Richebourg with Samcro next, and then comes Debussy. Charges towards the outside in company with Trainwreck as they continue now to face up to flight number 3, heading away from the stands. And Paloma Blue with Real Steel, followed by Le Richebourg and Samcro. Then comes Debussy and Charge on the outside of Whiskey Sour. Just wide of them comes Trainwreck, going into the turn with Top of the Ra next. Duke de Genevieve is next, and they're followed by Early Doors. Racing now into the turn, and racing past the 10 furlong point with a good run before they reach the 4th, and the leader is Real Steel. A length up on Paloma Blue. Le Richebourg is third. 2 lengths then to Samcro in 4th. Debussy is next on the inside, being followed by Charge, Trainwreck and Whiskey Sour as they come now to approach this 4th flight. Right over on the far side. And in the lead now, Real Steel lands in the lead from Le Richebourg gone second. Paloma Blue is third. Break then of 2.5 lengths to Samcro, Debussy and Charge. On their outside is Trainwreck, and then Whiskey Sour with Duke de Genevieve next. And they're being followed by Top of the Ra as they continue on now down the far side. As they go to the 4th last flight and begin the run now to the last on the far side. Up front for the lead, Real Steel, half a length in front for Patrick Mullins. To Le Richebourg, Barry Geraghty, Paloma Blue and Davy Russell. Samcro just on their heels in 4th for Jack Kennedy. Debussy trying to improve on the inside. Duke de Genevieve comes next, and they're being followed by Charge, Trainwreck, Early Doors, Top of the Ra, Whiskey Sour. Now about 8 lengths cover the field as they make the swing out of the back straight with a good run to 2 from the finish, and Real Steel from Paloma Blue. They're being followed by Le Richebourg and Samcro closing just in behind them. After them, Trainwreck is trying to get into it. Then comes Charge, and on their inside is Debussy. They're coming across now towards the 2nd last. They're beginning to bunch up, and Real Steel now joined and headed by Paloma Blue. Samcro making ground on their outside. They're being followed into the straight by Charge, Le Richebourg, and then Debussy and Trainwreck, and off the bend for home. Paloma Blue now with Samcro ranging right up on the near side. They've gone 3 lengths clear of on the outside Charge, and then Real Steel racing down now to the final flight in the Deloitte Hurdle, and Samcro has gone to the front. Eases into the lead now for Jack Kennedy as they come to the final flight. Samcro is over and clear of Paloma Blue. Duke de Genevieve is staying on in 3rd, but it is Samcro who's going to make it a magnificent 7 in the Jigginstown colours for Gordon Elliott. Samcro bolts in under Jack Kennedy, wins the Deloitte Hurdle in great style. Duke de Genevieve takes second, Paloma Blue, Whiskey Sour and Real Steel.
Well, there may have been plenty of hype about him beforehand, but I think he's created a bit more there, if anything. Fitzy, what a horse he promises to be, what a horse he is already. 6-4 on favourite, he returns here. Samcro still unbeaten and one of the genuine stars of the game.
Yeah, and just looking at his ears, are pricked. He doesn't really know how good he is, this horse, I think. And You know, Jack Kennedy is the only man who's been lucky enough to experience it
Look at Jack.
today, and you very rarely see him get that animated, but I think that's as good as you'll get. And the horse, he didn't disappoint, Gary. We needed a performance like that from him to justify the hype, and I think he's delivered.
I couldn't have put it better myself. I think today was the day where he really had to deliver, Kevin, in Grade 1 company, back down in trip against plenty of 2-mile specialists here, but this horse is not short of pace. He basically looks the full package, doesn't he?
And like Gary, this race shouldn't have shown him the best effect. You know, the gallop can't have been quick. You look at the 2 out, the field is so compressed, and yet an embryo chaser that clearly stays well is travelling best of all, and he quickens like that. Like, look, I've like a lot of fellas, I've been slow to really go overboard with him, because you know the nature of this game is like you don't want to blow one up too much before they go and do it, because so many of them fall by the wayside. But after a performance like that, now you need a very hard head now to keep yourself in check talking about him now, would you?
But you know the great thing is, the people are rushing here, Gary, all rushing to get round the winners enclosure to see him.
And it's raining as well.
And it's
now.
raining,
Yeah.
and I think, you know, that I think tells you the regard that this horse is held in. And I think everybody wants to say, I was there and I saw Samcro win his first Grade 1, because the way he's gone through this race, like a hot knife through butter, and that's what you want when you ride horses in Grade 1 races. You want them to do this, because you know when you get to Cheltenham there's no hiding place. They'll go quick, you'll be put out of your comfort zone. But this horse, I don't think he can be out of his comfort zone, because his cruising speed is so high.
Yes, and I think the top price now for the Ballymore, which we expect to be his next race, is even money with Betfair. But the Supreme is a race that he has got a quote or two for as well. So many options for this horse.
What would you do, Gary? You own Samcro.
I'd
Are you
stick
going
Ballymore,
Supreme
yeah.
or Ballymore?
No, Ballymore definitely all the way for me.
God, I'd nearly go Supreme, you know.
I think he could win it all right, yeah, but
Just with a view to the future as well, you know, the gears aren't an issue. Gears aren't an issue at all, you know. He'll have I suppose the one variable would be he'd likely meet a more strongly run race than he's ever met in the likes of a Supreme. But like Mick says, he just gives you the impression that he's got all the gears in the world, you know.
The only thing you would say is, just think back, Gary, to the mighty Isterbrack. He went the longer trip at the Cheltenham Festival because they were just worried about the hustle and bustle of the 2 miles at Cheltenham on that old course. It really is speed-based. But I'm with you, Kevin. This horse could win a Supreme. And the moment the Supreme, no horse is able to stamp itself on that race. And they've got options. They can wait until the Sunday, see what the weather forecast is, see what the ground is when they get there with the horses, and then decide. I think people will be scared of him, whatever race he runs in.
oh, not a doubt about that. Even money, as I say, the top price we've seen, and he's going to get a great reception here when he comes back in. And just, we haven't really spoken about any of those in behind, Kevin, because understandably we're focusing on the winner. It was just in a different league, but good run again from Duke de Genève, who's come through to grab second spot. 1 or 2 reputations, though, further back have taken a bit of a hit.
Yeah, Duke de Genève, you'd have to be delighted with that. A step in the right direction, I think it's fair to say. He could be one that goes up in trip now, and perhaps he could potentially be a Ballymore horse, because look how strong he was on the run in. He came home with plenty of run left. He just didn't have the gears that Samcro had, so I wouldn't be upset about him at all. Like you say, a few reputations dented in behind, a few disappointments. It was a bit messy. Paloma Blue, I'd say the last thing his connections wanted were to be up disputing the running with him, but he just got very free. They went very steady early on, and he got free and ended up putting his way up into a prominent position. But just what this horse has done in the context of the run of the race, you know, if we wind back to 2 out, look how compressed they were. They can't have gone quick. And this horse has just travelled and quickened. And this, you know, he's considered a 3-mile chaser in the making. It's unbelievable.
He seems to have a lovely temperament as well, Fitz. You know, you went down to see him when he was just a young horse, and even then...
Yeah, don't remind me, Gary.
Sorry, I wasn't going to go any further.
Yeah.
But even then, fairness, he had a big reputation, didn't he? Even
Oh, he
before ever
did.
got
Like
to the
Colin
track.
Bowe, he's loved this horse from day one. Everything that he's always done, he's done easily. And they're not in the one bit surprised that this horse has reached these dizzy heights.
Samcro then delivers for Elliott and the O'Learys. We're back with more reaction to the star novice hurdler of the weekend after a short break.